It was from the beginning very obvious that this was a community need, that it would be loved and cherished by the recreation community, by wildlife too.
I've been a lot of places in America, a lot of cities. Hardly any cities have a park like this close to downtown. Got these beautiful rock formations. There's little ponds in the wintertime. It's just really cool.
We've seen elk coming through here, moose. We've seen evidence of bear. And so they're traveling along this corridor and using the park as a way to move between the habitats they need.
If you know the history of the Ice Age floods, it's all right in front of you there, and you've got a commanding view of the whole Spokane, which is wonderful.
I feel like I've stepped out of my day-to-day and I've come into a nurturing space that will renew and rejuvenate me.
I love the kind of topography of it. It's really unique vegetatively and geologically. The wildlife really likes this place too. So it's diverse, it's just rich. And it doesn't really matter how much time you spend out here, you get to see that. This is Rimrock Riverside, 120 acres north of Palisades City Park. This was identified as a really important place for recreation in particular, to create that 11-mile corridor between the south end of Palisades and the north end of Riverside State Park. You know, after it was brought to our attention by the Friends of Palisades, it was kind of a matter of tying in partners that felt that way too.
Let's see, what else have we got? Some aspen. So, and we got some native plants too, like, you know, there's goldenrods in here. A few weeds. I have been living here in this neighborhood near Palisades Park since we moved to Spokane in 2004, so maybe 18 years. When we first moved to the area, we used to take walks around the park and go jogging there, and just really fell in love with it and decided that this is where we wanted to stay in Spokane. I'm an ecologist, so I have a kind of a special connection to native plants. I think we all value nature, but people don't always understand the importance of different plant communities or microbes or the geologic formations and hydrology and things like that. And so, I would hate to have a world where my kids could not, enjoy some of these landscape features. And it's changing. It's all changing very, very fast.
My first memory of this area was riding horseback with a lady that I was very interested in as a senior in high school. And she was easy to look at and the smartest girl in the class. And she had a horse, and both of us would jump on riding bareback. And so in those days, there weren't a lot of fences and not very many houses, so we were able just to ride through the woods and enjoy the beautiful scenery that's here, the gorgeous view over the city. So we did that quite a number of times, and that was good. She was in the driver's seat, and I got to hang on to her, you see. So she went to Whitman College, and I went to WSU, and the horse went down to a ranch in the Tri-Cities someplace. When we came back to town after we were married and did our professional training, we'd come up here a lot and enjoy the scenery. As we had kids, we'd bring them up as well. We skied. We'd look at the wildflowers and the airplanes that would be flying into the airport, and it was a lot of fun. Jeannie unfortunately developed Alzheimer's disease about a year before I retired, and we would continue to come up here and go for walks, but as her disease progressed, then the walks got shorter and shorter until they just became rides. And then when she was on respite care, then I'd come up here, and it was my place to get a little rest and think, and just be close to close to nature. So very, very personal place for me. And then since then, I found a lady online who also lost her spouse, and we have hit it off, and I've introduced her to Rimrock, and she enjoys it as well. We're going to be married in June, so the story continues. Yeah.
The city of Spokane is one of the highest ranking park systems in terms of the number of parks and the park acreage that is accessible to people close to their home. So being able to access nature within a 10-minute walk or a 10-minute drive is unusual. And I think for those who have been in Spokane for a long time, they may not remember or recognize that. And for those people who do come from other places, I think it's quite surprising the quality of our park system and how many places you can explore.
2017, the Fish and Wildlife Service was contacted by 2 landowners out here to come look at their property and see what type of a habitat restoration project we could undertake to better the habitat out in this area. Cue the Lands Conservancy coming in and really pushing on us and letting us know that there was a potential for this to be acquired by the county and be permanently protected.
The way that we found out about it is we were out running in this park one day and we ran into Craig Volasang. He was riding his horse, and we were talking for a while and brought up this piece of property that was for sale and asked if we'd be willing to buy it as a placeholder. So we did it and we bought it and we sat on it for a while. And then another piece came up, the one piece we're standing on right now, and we bought that and held that for a short time, and INLC just always came through, and it was really a minimal effort for us. And just the knowing that this is not going to be developed, that this will be here for the wildlife, for people to enjoy is really cool.
These areas are critical, they really are. Having these areas protected versus having a housing development near a wetland or a parking lot in a wetland. Those wetlands are critical for our entire area, both for waterfowl, for drinking water, for aquifer recharge. We need more of these places protected, and this piece does that.
And if there isn't somebody that's trying to preserve these beautiful natural resources that we have, they're going to go away. They're going to get developed. This would have gotten developed. I am 100% confident that there'd be houses on this right now. It's just great that this was able to be preserved.
Before we transferred the lands from the Conservancy to the city, we wanted to get our community together, one big hurrah, on the land together, and write this final love letter to the land that we came to really cherish.
Did some shallow excavations on 2 wetlands covering a total of 2 acres, get fencing up, and then plant over 2,000 trees on a weekend in September of 2020. And it was absolutely amazing seeing that many community members come out and get energized about a project that will soon be part of their park system.
It all just happened in a morning. It was just this blitz of caring and lovely energy from our community back into this place that we all love.
The development pressure across all of the West Plains is so prevalent. Housing complexes going up everywhere. This area was protected from that by INLC, by those special landowners. Our public lands in Spokane County have always been a jewel, but the areas around those public lands are being developed at a record pace. By protecting these small pieces and enhancing the habitat, both for wildlife and for human usage, just creates better everything.
I think it's really important for people to get involved. We're not going to have endless opportunities to do this.
If we look 50 years ahead, holding on to some land for wildlife and to keep it the way it was is extremely important. And if people feel that way, they should do something about it.
Not only did our community come together for this beautiful project, but also there are pristine, beautiful places left out there that need us to support them and protect them.
We can celebrate the collaboration and we can celebrate the outcome. And right now we have, on the entire west rim of Spokane, we have conserved public space. It's extraordinary.
There are many benefits to be derived from protecting nature and protecting the land. And if everybody gives a little bit, a lot can be accomplished.